Welcome back to Mean Green Sports Zone. With football in full swing this season, it's safe to say that we all love contact sports. But it's not just the men who are in on the action, and it's not the football you might be thinking about. Chanel Perry brings us all the details on rugby.
Rugby, a game of brains, agility, and just plain muscle. One of the most popular sports in the world, but relatively less so in the U.S., has taken hold here in Denton, and it's not just the men that are playing.
Women's rugby is kind of new to the U.S. Despite rugby kind of being introduced to the U.S. in the early 70s, it's always been kind of an underground club, almost a cult kind of activity.
This underground activity is gaining some popularity with the starting of the Denton Women's Rugby Club, but sadly at a slow rate.
A lot of women seem to be intimidated by the idea of playing rugby. It is a contact sport, and like all contact sports, sometimes people get hurt. It's the nature of the game.
Luckily, the forcefulness of the game has drawn some women in.
I like rugby because it's a very intense game. It's a really easy way to get fit and stay in shape, and you meet a lot of good people with it. It's a very social sport, so it's an easy way to make friends.
The Denton Sirens, as they are now known, are encouraging more women to come out.
It's a small community for women, and the more participation we have, the more we can get our name out, specifically in Denton.
Because like all team sports, it's not just about the game.
It's also a great opportunity for not only just the playing, but the camaraderie, the team spirit, and the family that you get along with it.
So whether you want to stay in shape or just hit people, come and check out the Denton Women's Rugby Club. This is Chanel Perry for Mean Green Sports Zone.
Such thing as an ugly win in the National Football League. Jerry Jones even went as far to say that Sunday's win over Carolina was, quote, beautiful. Dallas opened up the scoring with a 19-yard field goal from Dan Bailey. Carolina would score the first touchdown of the game on a 5-yard touchdown pass from Cam Newton to Brendan LaFell. Dallas regained the lead with a Romo to Austin 26-yard score on an absolutely beautiful pass, followed by another Bailey field goal, this one from 49 yards out. The Panthers didn't throw in the towel yet by driving down and getting a 2-yard touchdown run from former Charger Mike Tolbert early in the fourth quarter. It would take Dallas nearly 8 minutes to grab the lead for the final time on yet another Bailey field goal from 28 out. Cowboy fans then found themselves shaking while Newton and the Panthers marched down to around midfield, but the Dallas defense held strong on a huge 4th and 2 conversion. Bailey would then convert from a 38 out to increase the lead to 5 and put it out for reach for Carolina. Dallas now has the tall task of facing the New York Giants this Sunday at Cowboy Stadium, a place Eli and his boys have never lost.
You know, they say it's not about how you start.
It's how you finish.
And the Cowboys finished with a win, which is all that matters, despite most of those points being field goals.
Good points, as long as you get the points on the board.
And Cam Newton, he is a great quarterback. You know, the Panthers are struggling right now. I'm wanting to see how they come back from this.
Mm-hmm. I always like how a team come off of a win, because normally the next game is better, because they lost against Baltimore the week before. Mm-hmm. So I really wasn't expecting them to win, because when you come off a loss, it's hard to find that momentum back again. And
they're facing the Giants, and so that's going to be a tough game. But the thing about those two, one, can always come out on top. That's just the game of football.
And as football season is approaching its halfway point of the season, the stage is now set for baseball's Fall Classic. The Detroit Tigers represent the American League after a quick 4-game sweep of the Yankees, while the Giants represent the National League after a gritty 7-game series win over the defending champion Cardinals. This year's Fall Classic should be an excellent display of pitching because both teams have some of the best starters in the game, but both teams also take pride in the lineups they can produce. The Tigers prove they can beat you with the home run ball or through small ball, and the Giants have proved they are a never-say-die club after winning in 6 potential series-clinching games. This also marks the first time that the Tigers and Giants have faced each other in the World Series, despite both teams being around for over a century. And while we're still in the baseball mood, UNT softball is in the process of opening up their fall season. They host an impressive Oklahoma squad that is routinely ranked in the top 25 this week and are swinging for the fences to exit the Sun Belt Conference with a deep run in the tournament. I caught up with Coach TJ Hubbard to get a behind-the-scenes look at their chances this season. Colder weather is approaching North Texas. For some, that could mean October baseball, or for others, the arrival of basketball season. But for UNT softball head coach TJ Hubbard, it means only one thing. It's time to prepare his team for fall ball. Coach Hubbard is entering his 6th season as head coach of the Mean Green, and he's looking forward to building on the momentum that his team displayed late last season. He has some holes to fill in his lineup, which is something every coach will experience at one point or another, but his solid group of veterans and a new group of young and exciting players will provide for an exciting farewell season in the Sun Belt Conference.
I think it'll be very similar to the last few years' rosters that we filled. There'll be a lot of offense. We brought in a pretty strong freshman class, a lot of big power hitters, a lot of big slappers that can get our base running game going. But I think it'll be very similar to the years past. We'll have some exciting new freshmen in the game at times, and I think you'll be able to see a pretty effective pitching staff. We have a lot of seniority, a lot of veteran pitchers on the pitching rotation, so I think they'll be able to see some solid pitching performances from that aspect.
One of his starters who's looking to earn plenty of experience and playing time is junior catcher Sarah McGann. She spoke with us about why she likes to catch this pitching staff and how she can help out her team from behind the plate.
This pitching staff works so hard and they're so diverse. It's great to put them against different batters and really see how they work, and it's just really fun to watch them pitch. I feel it's very important, so your catcher behind the plate has to have a lot of leadership because they're the only ones who can see the whole field. And regarding throwing out runners, I enjoy that a lot because you're more involved with the game, and you sometimes, like if your pitcher maybe gets a hit off them or they walk somebody, and you are able to pick them up by maybe throwing out a runner or picking them off at first, wherever they are.
This year's team faces multiple challenges and opponents as the team prepares for its final year in the Sun Belt. The team faces Oklahoma, a top 25 contender, and will need all hands on deck to make a deep run into the conference tournament. With the help of a loaded pitching staff and talent throughout his lineup, Coach Hubbard's final year in the Sun Belt looks to be a great one. Reporting from Mean Green Sports Zone, I'm Cameron Varnaugh. It might be getting colder outside, but the softball diamond at Lovelace Stadium is just about to heat up. Back to you at the desk, Whitley.
Thanks, Cameron. And coming up, we will talk about how Lance Armstrong was stripped from all of his titles.
And we discuss our World Series predictions. All this and more on Mean Green Sports Zone.